I do lots and lots of Insignia for the kingdom. And so I guess today's class is pretty much just showing you guys how to make them, and I guess just some shortcuts and how to get like really good quality prints. And so I'll show you guys a page, but I normally start with, sometimes they're not as nice and circly as these. Is that in view? That is in view. Not in very good view. And so generally I start with a page like this. And it's just a capture image from our Insignia heraldry site. But you'll find things like various groups and stuff like that. They'll have their images up on Facebook, but it's not going to be a perfect circle. And so it has taken me about 5 years for me to realize that I can just buy one of these. It's just a little circle tool to help me make an easier circle, so I'm not like freehanding cutting a circle. I have a little guidance. So you see the main components are going to be back cabochons. You can find them on Amazon. I will have a full list of materials and where I buy my stuff and how much it costs. It's a fun little hobby. This is just glass cabochons that go on top. You're pretty much making a sandwich. I apologize. I have my dogs playing in the background. And so we have a couple of various adhesives. We have Mod Podge Dimensional Magic, which I swear by. It works really well. Unfortunately, it good and bad. It's water soluble, so you're gonna get your hands all gunky, but it comes right off, which is fantastic. Unfortunately, it means that the front side of the cabochon, you make the sandwich and you come out with a pretty pendant. Throughout my thing, I know I have pendants in here, like this. Like the front part of it is vulnerable, so if you have like a cup of water and it stands and it's like right next to it overnight, it'll just kind of leach on through and kind of get the thing from the front side. I used to use nail polish a lot, but nail polish kind of tends to eat away at the ink, and also too, I mean, it's just American nail polish is just kind of nasty in general. A lot of it tends to have arsenic in it, which I'm trying to lessen my life. Next up is Gorilla Glue. It's a clear grip. It's instant contact. Next thing is the picture yourself. The picture itself. I happen to have also I can't think of the name of the word. Compass rose. It's for people who have really strived and made great charity. It's helped help kids and run kids activities, and they've done a stellar job. And so I'll make one of these today. And so the dimensions of these back plates is 1 inch, and that is including all of the middle part. So inside the inner diameter is smaller than 1 inch. I always paste on the cabochon side. That just gives a cleaner look, gives it a more magnified look, and yeah, looks nice. It'll end up looking nice. Generally, I start off by having I kind of clean my cabochon, because sometimes it's just you need touch. You go out, imagine I count them and stuff like that, so I know how many I have. So there's all kinds of little schmutzies and stuff like that on it. Yeah, take off the schmutzies. And if I speak too fast, or if I'm like slurring together my words, feel free just to yell at me.
You're doing fine. What do you clean it with, though?
Hand sanitizer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when the virus first kind of hit, like I happened to have hand sanitizer for my project, and that kind of got stolen for a little bit there. I'm like, oh well, I need to save a little bit so I can clean my stuff and get all the stuff off of me, because it helped a whole lot getting the Mod Podge off with a little bit of hand sanitizer, and then you start washing hands, and you find out, oh, you come out later like, oh, my hand's really smooth right there. Is that gunk? Yeah, it's gunk.
Hey, so you have a couple questions in the chat. The first is, what kind of paper do you use, and is it just a normal color printer that you're printing on?
Yeah, I'm using is it inkjet?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it's an inkjet. Yeah. I've used different various printers, and I can kind of show you the differences between them. My husband happens to work for a place who does things for printers, and so he has big fancy printers. So occasionally I can get him to sneak some prints for me. And so this is kind of an example of what if you get like the expensive printers. And
Oh,
so you
yeah.
see how the black is super crisp. You tell at
Mm-hmm.
the time I kind of drew on my circles because you're working with a square,
Right.
and yeah, you gotta make square fit into a circle.
Gotcha.
And so I can just kind of show you guys a little bit too. This is a milky clear thing. So if you guys if you guys decide that you guys want to kind of take this and do resin, and so I can show you a resin pendant. I can't show you all the steps that I don't have all my resin stuff out, but that's the resin pendant, and this is kind of the material I used.
Cool.
And so for the inside guts. So there's also another method on how to end up where you're just getting a little thing of ink off of it.
Mm-hmm. And the other question in the chat was, can you post the location of the file containing images of the awards that you can print? You just pulled them down yourself, right? There isn't actually a file, or is
Yes,
there?
yeah, it definitely is a file. There's a
Oh,
PDF.
oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. I cheat.
That's not cheating. That's working smarter.
But another trick that you use, because sometimes the files like you pull off, and so say I'm seeing one of the berries that had a really big problem with literally grabbing their thing off was Bonwick. Because traditionally you look at the thing and the thing's big and you can only find one. So when you're making stuff for baronies, make sure they don't have the little laurel leaves in them. They have the laurel leaves in them. That
Oh,
means
yeah.
that is now property of that barony. That's now theirs. Thank you
Right,
for the donation.
right.
But but if you're giving it to go hand out to people, you just want to make sure it doesn't have those little leaves. But yeah. And so pretty much you just open up the file, you put it in, like you have like a little thumbnail previewer like on your desktop, and I just I take a screenshot and I throw that into my little MS Paint. So yeah, I use MS Paint.
Okay.
And so yeah, not working like a super fancy program either. And
Oh,
so
that's good though, because that's something a lot of people have easily accessible.
great. And so since I've been doing this for a while, I'm not really afraid of using my hands with it, my fingers with it. But a thing that kind of makes its own best tool is a hairpin. It's just the back end of a hairpin, and it just nicely grabs. It's just because they're all coated. It just nicely grabs the dot of Mod Podge, and of course, without fail, it's not gonna clog on me. And so Mod Podge, so that's kind of a good thing. So I can show you guys what to do. So the Mod Podge bottles, right? So this Mod Podge bottle has lasted me a long time. So you can pop off this bad boy, grab a stick, and just shove it. Woohoo! Unclogged.
So you're actually off camera right now, so we can't really see.
Ah, ha, ha. There we go. I had no, the thing I was using the market, right? I took it off and started playing with it. So, yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah. This is to be in frame, right?
Yes.
Okay, so once again, you see it now?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you just pop it off, turn it around, shove a little piece of wire.
Gotcha.
And you want to make sure you take it off and not just push it in there, because then you're gonna have like a UFO floaty in there. But it snaps right back in. Good to go. And so we have our nice clean cabochon. We take this, we're gonna just put in a little dot, because we always add more. And we just want to make a nice little smooth swirl around it. Just want to. So I don't know if you can see how well that kind of shows up. And so I always have my little pictures of whatever I'm doing face down, because then you can just pick it up with your finger. And so then you're just going to add it. You want to try to do your best to add it to the center. And you'll see how initially it kind of floats a little bit. And so you have at that time to kind of center it. But once it snaps, you'll feel visually, it'll create suction. And then you can't move it no more.
Gotcha.
And so then you have a nice little cabochon. And you let that dry for a couple seconds, right? And you show everybody something else. So same principle. It's just a cabochon, and this is just it's just a fish rock. You buy a big old bag of them from the dollar store, Dollar Tree, for $1.
Are those the same size as the other ones that you did? It looks kind of smaller.
No, the
fish rock one, I mean.
No, this is the same size.
This is
actually, I still have all the same stuff, because I went crazy buying them, and then I discovered a better way.
Gotcha.
And so, and this is they're called uncalibrated cabochons. If you guys are ever looking for more of an old school, more organic kind of look to them. And so I'll actually show you on one of the Insignia stars. Since this is bigger than a circle, so this is more of a free form thing. Where did I put musses? I'm gonna cut one of these out. Kind of stick it towards the back. You kind of see, oh, it actually looks kind of nice like that. And so I think that is just inside of the circles. I forget where I stole the stars from.
Somewhere online.
Somewhere online. Occasionally, when you trying to blow up the stars through Photoshop, the pixels will start getting kind of pixelated, and they'll start kind of dragging. You can just really see that with a lot of my earlier work, how the pixels will start dragging.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, so that's when I kind of discovered, like, hey, I can just use that preview, get it to about the size I want, then drop that into, take a screenshot, then I have no dropped pixels. I still get a super nice, crispy, small thing.
Gotcha. Richard had a question. Richard?
Sure.
So I love this method. Thank you very much for sharing it. I'll be using this for a whole bunch of awards and other stuff, personal or otherwise, because it allows you to have incredibly complex art in a small area that's protected, that you can freely change. have you ever, when you've gotten your preset image that you know will fit into your cabochon and will be set correctly, have you ever thought about to make sure your color is correct, instead of doing it on your home printer, actually taking it to a printer store and asking them to, you give them a file and they will print so many on a sheet, and so the color is brighter. I know you mentioned that about your, I think you said your husband having access sometimes to better printers. So I was
Yeah,
wondering.
yeah, yeah. They sell printers and printer contracts. So yeah,
Yeah.
I've used
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Occasionally, when his boss, or my aunt-in-law is not looking, when she's in Hawaii. But the Kingdom of Antiora, they just love the fact that they get Insignia. So actually, this is something I forgot to show you guys last time. So this is actually kind of really important on this one. So you want to add another little dab of the Mod Podge on the back of it, just to kind of smooths it down. So you don't want it to kind of drag off center.
Uh-huh.
So it makes it so it's nice and smooth, because smoother things just kind of stick together, want to stick together a little bit easier. Kind of. Thinking about it a little bit more, I'm like, not normally happening. It works in this instance. There we go. And so once again, I have an Antiora star. I haven't made one of these in a really long time. Antiora star, any side's up, but then you start looking at it like, no, maybe the other side is up. And see, it's just so much harder to get one of these things centered, because just the nature of the glass, because it's uncalibrated.
Mm-hmm.
And so the other, these pieces of glass are calibrated, so no matter, I mean, there's slightly warp to it, but
Yeah, they both look good though.
Yeah, they do. So did I hear you correctly that you're going to be submitting a handout with list of supplies and things like that? Is that correct?
yeah, I've priced everything out before, and I'm sorry, it's a lot suddenly. Yeah, I've priced everything out. I've done this class once before for my barony, and so yeah, I still have that handout someplace.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
because I'd
can
love
get
to
that.
see that. Yeah, this is something that I could do while I'm watching other people in video conferences.
Right, right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So so the back part of this, generally I have a pair of pliers on me, but once again, I've stolen all the stuff away from me because this week has been crazy. And so it's pretty much, you just take a little, like, 3.5, I think this is like 4 inches, and you just bend it into a spiral. And you should do into like a semi-loose spiral, so give yourself some distance around it. I can't even show you guys, I don't, because this is a pretty thick gauge. This is galvanized steel. I want to say it's something like 16 gauge, 17 gauge. Super cheap. I think about like 500 yards for like $3 from Farmer Tracker. Can't think of the name of the store suddenly. Tractor Supplies. There we go.
I almost said that, but I wasn't sure.
Like Farmer Tractor. Tractor Supplies. There we go. The farmers go for all their stuffs. So generally you just make your spiral, but pretend that this is a nice, pretty spiral, right? And then you just do a little double spiral, and then you would just use some glue and paste the back of this, and you would just like cure it with a better. I used to do nail polish, but you probably just use a bunch of coats of Gorilla Glue and just do layers.
Can you hold the spiral thing up? I didn't see it very good. There you go.
I don't have my pliers on me, so I can't do a good spiral.
That's okay. So now, what do you use that for?
That would be for these, so that way you can make it into an actual pendant,
Gotcha.
and so if you want to, you can also just buy like the magnet backing stuff, and you just glue that at the back of this, and you have an Antiora magnet.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
And so this is set now. So next part is the Gorilla Glue. So you just need a little bit of it. You see the center how it has a kind of like almost like a bullseye in the middle of it. You never want to go more than like 2 rows from it because you don't want it to kind of overspill. So you just go 2 rows, just nice and tall. Like an ice cream. I'm not too sure if this is going to end up being a pretty one or not because, like, surprise, I'm not giving it any cure time. Generally, you want to cure this for a little bit. You want to let it set for about a half hour, but you don't have time for that. So, you want to press it evenly. You kind of smoosh it around a little bit. Generally, most of mine have a little bit of space between the image and the edge of the cabochon. I kind of just like the look of it. It kind of makes it look a little shinier. And I too also know that I made them. And I can also tell, like, what series or what version of them I made. And so, yeah. You want to have something like a cutting board, like I use a cutting board, so that when you set them down, can you actually see this?
Yes.
Okay, so you want to see it. So that way, see how the loop part, you don't want it to set like that, or else the image will start wandering.
Oh.
So you just want to make sure it's all nice and flat. Get it centered.
So you want to hang that little loop off the edge of something, is what you're saying,
something,
right?
Anything. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, that's a pendant.
Cool.
These things are a little more fiddly. These things will also wander, and you just gotta play with them. You want to give me a quick second? I can't go grab. I know where my pliers are, and I should have thought of that. It's just a last second thought about it. But it's just showing people how to do these. So like, I don't know if people would actually want to do these or not. So some people really liked them, but like before, they don't live very long.
Yeah.
Just because of the nature of it. I always have warnings on my pendants because people at SEA are hard workers. Sometimes they like to give stuff to their kids. This is really cheap nickel. And on heavy, sweaty bodies, they will eventually just kind of degrade. And you don't want kids that in people's mouths. I saw someone give their pendant to a kid, and I just about had a heart attack. Like, no! They gave like one of these to their little kid. I'm like, no! That is full of Gorilla Glue. Don't feed that to your kid. I'm like, oh, it's my kid. I'm like, I made it.
Because they're gonna stick it in their mouth. So
yeah, that's what it is. Some people just like sucking on pendants and stuff like that. I'm like, can't do that with this. So I always have a little warning. People actually laugh about them, but yeah, I do not lick, wet, pull, or heat pendant. Because I've had people who have set theirs on fire. I've had people, just set theirs next to a glass of water. And it got ruined.
Right.
But they're my friends, and I love them, so I made them another. Let's see. So this is a resin pendant, and this is an image of our thistle, the real thistle. And so this, I'm sorry. Does anyone have any questions about the stuff I just covered?
I'm good. Anybody else?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so resin pendants. Resin is something I'm not quite very good at. It is time intensive and is prone to failure, but it's still fun. You get one of the same trays. You get the same trays. It'll mix. So when you get your resin, there's hard resin and then there's soft resin. Some people like mixing them. I just like using hard crystal clear resin. You're gonna use, I want to say something like it's 10 part. I want to say it's like 10 parts resin to like 1 part acrylic. And so you just want to put that in some sort of something they don't care about, like a little mixing thing. And so, because you want to paint the background of your pendant with it, or else it's just really hard to show up because the image will just, because it's just that. I'll show you what it looks like. So that's just, I have it on milky white, so that way you can see it a little bit better. And also too, you can also just tell what side the image is on. If you lick your finger, and then, right, I know it's COVID, it's my stuff, but you can just tell, like, oh, that side's tacky, so this side, the image is on this side. You first put your image, you'll set your resin. You want to get a nice equal space around it. You're gonna heat that for a minute in your UV, like in a UV lamp. So I like using UV resin because our stuff's gonna be out in the sun, so you don't want it turning yellow. After that, you're gonna very carefully pop off the back of it. But you tend to lose your image sometimes, so you gotta be really careful about it. I had a project where I was trying to make a bunch of pendants for everyone's kids, and some of the stuff just got cracked in half. Do I have any of that stuff up here? No, I don't. And so, and then from there, you start building your pendant. You'll have your paint with your resin on the bottom. You're gonna cure that with, again, your UV lamp. You put it in there for a couple minutes until it's pretty hard. You want to make sure you want to get up in the corners, but you want it to kind of be as flat as it can, because you're gonna put in more layers. You're gonna use the image that you have popped off. You're gonna set it in there. Actually, you put a little more resin, like a little more resin, clear resin, not the stuff that has the white on it. You put your image in, your done image on it, and then you just have to do it in layers. Once again, you put it in for another couple minutes on your UV lamp, bring it back out. You're gonna check it, let it dry, and then you're gonna fill in like any cracks, or because it will be kind of divoty. So this probably has about, it's pretty smooth on it, but it still has a little dimpling, but it's not that bad. But it's still probably about 10 minutes of random curing time for inside the UV lamp. So it's not that bad too, but it comes up with a pretty nice little image. So that's how you do resin ones. If you guys
So how
resin
did you
ones.
get the pictures? Do you print that, like that paper that you have there? You print that too for the resin ones?
Yeah.
So what is that? What's that's in your
This
hand?
is purely ink. It's just ink. So any white. So like, say if I want to do this Ansiora image, right? I would make a blend of, I'd make a yellow acrylic resin mix, and so that'd be the background. And
I
so,
gotcha.
because like, so for clear on metal isn't very impressive, but you want to put it on a background for these. And so, and these were my idea for me trying to do. I was going to try to do talons with little Ansiora stars on it. That was the idea for this. I thought it'd be really
Do you
cool
just
to
have
have
to
like,
buy like certain sheets that you print it on?
yes, and they are
okay.
expensive. So you kind of really do want to put as much as you can, but you have to have enough space to put the layer of resin so you can pop it off.
Gotcha.
Because if you don't pop it off, eventually the paper will peel inside of your pendant and doesn't look quite as nice.
I gotcha.
And
wow.
So
cool.
that's been the project I had been working on that I kind of forgot and got distracted with leatherworking for a little bit. And so, yeah, that is pretty much my class on how to make pendants. Insignia, you guys have to make sure. Generally, you don't want to start off making your own stuff unless it's just really handing out to your friends. If you're planning on handing stuff into the kingdom, you really want to make sure that you are using the kingdom stuff. Just like on these, you want to make sure your stars are facing the correct direction. I like making the pulling order stuff because it's not given out by the kingdom, and I think they look pretty.
They do.
And so, Yeah, the kingdom always has a list of what they have. They always have a list of the Insignia that they have inside. They have a list of scrolls that they currently have, and
Insignia.
it yeah scrolls Insignia. And then someone will see like the third random Insignia. So that's me. I handed a bunch of random stuff. Shanna probably hates me. She doesn't.
No, trust me, she does not hate you.
And you're like,
Anytime
Nick,
they
you
get
don't
that
have any
stuff,
more
they're
space in
happy.
this box. I don't have any more space in this box. Why are you handing me this random thing?
It'll be helpful someday, though, I'm sure.
I don't know. I was like, you can just swap it out. Just tell me, and you can send it back to me. I'll give you something else instead. You know I'm good for it. So, that's it. Any other questions or anything I can help with, or?
I don't have any. Does anybody else on the call have any questions? No? Doesn't look like it. Alrighty. Well, yeah, if you can get me your list of supplies, I can get that posted. And thank you so much for teaching. It's awesome. And everything you've been doing for the kingdom is fantastic. So we really appreciate it and appreciate you sharing your knowledge with everybody today.
Yeah, if you guys ever have any questions or you need already small prints that are already in a circle, let me know. I'll send you some.
Awesome. Thank you. You rock.
Awesome. All right,
All
bye.
right. Bye, guys. Have a good night.
Have a great night.